everyone, welcome to another week in our garden. It's a lovely warm morning, it's a bit overcast, temperature's about 20, but there's quite a bit of breeze from the west, so it's quite refreshing. Now today I'm going to start by picking some of the raspberries. Because it's a bit windier today, there are not quite so many wasps in here, so Diane's come in to film. There's the raspberries, loads of them this year. I found that if I pick slightly underripe and every other day, I can usually get them away before the wasp comes out, especially if I get down here early doors and get them off. So I'll start picking a few and then show you how we go on. Thing with raspberries, if they're ready, they'll just slide off, look, like that. You see? Slide off. If they're not quite so ready, they won't slide, but if they're not giving up, don't squeeze them too much because you damage the fruit for next time, okay? So these are all nice and ripe, look, a little tug and away they come. Keep your eye out for the wasps while you're harvesting so you don't pick the wasps up. Well, I'll pick them and then I'll come back to you and show you how many we have, okay? Quite ready yet, so we'll leave that one for tomorrow. Another one, this one here, look, you can see the difference. That one's lovely and ready. These are nowhere near yet. There's a few more underneath. You have to keep looking under the leaves to find these. You'll find that the lower down you go on the plant, the smaller they'll get normally. There you are, look at those, just popping off. They're lovely. That one's not ready. Another one hiding here, look, we'll take that one. And that one. There you go. I'll go through and quickly get these picked before the sun comes out and the wasps come up, okay? So I'll see you in a few minutes. Now we've finished picking the raspberries for today. There's still loads and loads still coming. There's a nice basket of raspberries there, keep us going a little longer. Now the other thing I want to show you is while you're picking the raspberries, and I've noticed one here, there is, if I can just move it out, this one has got a virus in it, I think, or something. So as soon as we finish filming, I'll come back in with the secateurs, follow that all the way down, and I shall remove that. And the fruit seems alright, look, but I'm not too happy with that in case it spreads to the rest. So I shall remove that and take it down to the incinerator and make sure it's burnt next time on. I've noticed there's two like that, so I should take them out and get rid of them just in case. Now the next thing we want to do today, we want to nip down the bottom and have a look how the main crop potatoes are doing. Now we're down here in amongst the potatoes. This is the main crop that we're amongst now, and then the first earlies have nearly gone. The second earlies we'll have a look at, and the main crop will be on this side of it. I thought we might just have a scratch down and see what's below. Bear in mind these have had no water other than what's fallen out of the sky, and that hasn't been a lot. So let's have a scratch down and see. We've definitely got some potatoes there, look. Yeah, as you can see there's quite a few in there. Yeah, they're fine. They're still a bit small, but they're main crop, so there's still time for those to swell a little bit. So we need to cover all this up and have a look at those others, okay? If you're covering it up, make sure you cover it up quite firm. Now we've had a look at the main crop. They're alright, they're still swelling, so that'll be fine. If we get some more rain, that'll do wonders. We have had one blight warning this year, but we'll keep our eye on them. If this wind keeps up, there'll be no blight in this wind. It'd be lovely. It needs to dry the air. So we need to now get these second earlies lifted as we want them. and then 2 weeks before I'm ready for lifting the main crop, I'll take all the tops off and let them sit and harden the skins up. Secondaries, you no need to do that, you just lift them up and use them as and when. Okay, let's have a go and see what we got down here. We've had some rain, but the ground's no softer. There's a few there, look, that's quite good. Just a quick look at them. Yeah, they're fine. I can't see many slug holes. There's 1 or 2 scuffs on them, but no, they're fine. We'll have these. As you can see, there's a little bit of scabby on them, but that's the land. That's nothing to do with the conditions they've been grown in. You do tend to get that on this old clay land. They're still coming. I'll just loosen out with the fork again. Remember, take everything out you can find. There we go, look. Take them all. And more. And more. I'll just take this side. So that looks about it. Let me pull them up and show you. That looks about it for that root. That's not bad for a poor neglected potato. I'm quite pleased with that and surprised. I don't know if you noticed, but the soil's still wet from the storm we had at the weekend. It's turned it into quite workable soil now at last. Alright, let's lift him and see what we're getting. I'm still using the steel handled fork because the wooden fork won't do this. Oh dear, I've broke one. I speared one, but never mind, we'll sort it. They don't look a bad crop at all. They'll do nice. I will have to rinse these up there near the tank once they go up, so I can keep the soil down here. But these are quite good potatoes. I don't like to see that, look. Holes. That means that the slugs are travelling again. There's not too many slug holes. I'm happy. Right, we'll just dig over again. A lump of rock. So two. I'll just dig the other side and that will do. Right, there you are, that's 2 roots. The small ones is there as well, look, so the ground should be pretty clean. Now we dug our 2 roots. Di said that's plenty for now, so they'll store better in the ground than what they will in my shed in this weather, I can show you. So we'll take these up, give them a wash. And I just want to have a quick look at the onions before we string them. I don't think they're quite ready yet, but we'll have a look, okay? Now we were just setting off towards the shed and we could see that the plums were beginning to colour. Now with it being such a wasp year, and at the bottom here the birds are terrible for taking the fruit and the tomatoes. So we thought we'd pick some a little early and then ripen them up at the house. I've just picked a few of the plums that I think are ripe. I've just tasted ones, absolutely beautiful. Really now need to pick them a little early before the wasps and the birds get to them. We'll just have to keep coming down and having a look. Now while we're on our way up to the shed, Di says that she needs a little bit of beetroot for baking for the salads, so we'll lift some nice small ones for her as we go through, okay? Just getting a little level. Not 2 there. So there you are, there's a few baby beetroot, or small beetroot as we call them now. We'll give those a wash before we take them up. I'm just going to lift 1 or 2 of these onions. They're getting a bit big now, so we need to get them out. There you are, a good handful of spring onions. We'll wash them and then they'll all come apart. We'll show you them again when they've been washed. Look, they smell absolutely delicious. Now the weather has changed and I had the onions outside drying, so I've had to bring them in. And I put them in the lean-to, but with the air being so damp, especially in the mornings, I've actually taken them into the shed now, but I need to go through them first just to take any of the really dry stuff off, so I can then finish them off in the shed. Then once they're fully dried, then we can string them up for storage. What I do, look, I just take the onion, any really loose stuff I take off. It's plenty alright at this stage. I just break the roots because they should come off easy, and then I push my hand up. Now I don't know if you see that, it's still a bit green and I can feel it still moist on my hand, then I know that that onion is not ready for storing yet. Likewise again, look, just take the rough off. We'll clean them up later before we string them. And then again, I can really feel the dampness in that stem. So they're definitely not ready for storing yet. If you store them with a little bit of damp in, you'll lose them. Same again, just rub your hands round. Not too much. If it comes off, it comes off. If it doesn't, leave it till next time. It'll be fine. There you are, look. But it's definitely, and what she'll do is, if it's a nice day, Now the small ones like this one obviously dried out and ready to use. On a nice day I should bring these trays out and sit them in the sun to cure them a bit. But I won't. I keep them one layer so when I do get them out the sun can be on them a bit. One more. Remember, rub your hands through it. Any damp. It's very damp round the bottom, that one. Feeling for soft pieces on the base, etc. Just break the roots. Now if the roots don't want to break yet, leave them. But that is definitely nowhere near ready for storage. See here where this is still green, nowhere near ready yet. But I'll work my way through all the onions we've got. And also while you're checking them, if you're feeling for soft patches, if you get a soft patch, I'd send it and use it straight away or get rid of it. A nice little onion there, just take those bits off. There you go. Just a little bit damp in there. Just rub it round, that's fine. We'll leave that to finish now. It sounds like the chickens are having a good time. Now, the onions are nowhere near ready for stringing yet. And I shall pop these back in the shed while it's a bit overcast and damp. And then when the sun comes out later on, I'll bring them out and they can have a good sunbathe if you like, and it really does dry them out and cures them ready for storage. These are the raspberries that we just picked. We beat the wasp, so that was very, very good on there. We picked some of the Victoria plums, not the biggest of plums this year, but I've had one and they're very, very tasty. So now we picked them a little bit early to try and beat the wasp, and we'll finish them up at the house and then they'll be ready in a day or two. Some lovely baby beetroot, very, very nice on the salads, I like that. The lettuce is one of the tall lettuce, I forget the name, tall and crisp, that lettuce, very nice. Some lovely spring onions there, they all come apart when we've washed them and cut the bottoms off, and they come apart very easily on there. Right, you saw us lifting the potatoes, those two roots, there they are. I've kept the soil down the garden, I'm not going to send the soil in, and they've done quite well. One or two little slug holes in them. I think I've seen 2 in the whole lot, so that's not so bad at all. Hello everyone and good morning. Friday morning. It's a lovely sort of overcast day today, but it's quite warm, about 20 degrees, and it's quite a nice day. We're going to put these potatoes in today. Now I've already done 5, so we're just 2 more pots to do. I'll go through what I did right from the start, how I actually made the compost, if you like. We'll do that first. This is the compost I actually made for the potatoes. I'll show you what I put in it. What I did, I bought some compost. That's Arthur Bauer's compost. It'll do for the potatoes. And then what I also did, if you remember now that I save all my used compost in a separate bin now, and so this is it. This has been used for the tomatoes. So when I took tomatoes out, I screened the compost. There's still an odd root in it, look, but that doesn't matter. And then I mixed that about 50-50 with this compost. So put into it some of these mini bark chips and then mixed it all up. I put these through the screen as well. It's only about an inch screen, and anything that was too big I took out anyway. But those 3 mixed together, and I put in about 1/3 of a bottle of Now the volume of it was somewhere around 20 litres of the compost, and then about 10 litres of the bark went in. That was to make one mix to add this to. I also put in a little bit of bloodfish and bone, just to give it that extra kick, if you like. Potato fertiliser is enough to get the potatoes up, but the bloodfish and bone will just give it a boost as well. Now that's the mix I've used. Now it's just a case of potting them. Now I'm using these old boxes that I use for the tomatoes. It's got wire mesh on the bottom. This will be about their last run now, because they're getting a bit rickety. So I put a bit of gauze in the bottom, look, just roughly, it doesn't have to be dead on. And into that I put a handful of this chopped straw, just enough to cover the bottom. It'll also keep the bottom of the compost sweet as well as we move them into the greenhouse event to finish. Then that'll just keep the bottom sweet on the gravel. I just put the compost in. I'm not going to fill it to the top. I'm going to fill it about halfway, put the potatoes in, cover them, and then let them grow through, and then keep topping the compost up like you do for your normal potatoes. So that's firmish, not too hard. Then we'll put potatoes in. Two going in this one, look, these are Gemson. They only make small potatoes, so they'll be ideal for what we want at Christmas. It's made a good compost. One more. Put one more in, there you go. And we'll just, as soon as they come through and get in 3 or 4 inches high, we'll keep topping up like we do for normal potatoes in boxes. And then this goes over there, putting them over here while the weather's good. If there's any risk of blight about, I should try and put them in the greenhouse. Now I'll quickly do the other one, and then that'll be all 7 pots finished. So that's all the 7 pots done, and now I'll just give them a drink of water and wait till they come up. I will keep them moist but not too wet, but we need to get some water down to those potatoes now. This is where, by adding the bark to it, it lets the water go straight through. I don't know if you'd noticed, but I put them on some old drain pipe there, square drain pipe. Just keeps them off the floor and lets the water pass through. They don't want to be stood too wet. But the compost is nice and warm, the weather's nice, so these will be up in no time. And then we'll move them into the greenhouse later on, hopefully before we lift them. That's the potatoes done. Let's fingers crossed we don't want no blight or worries with them. But if we fail, we fail. But it's worth a risk. Now, I don't know if you remember, we took some cuttings of some jasmine. They're now ready, so while we're up at the greenhouse here, we'll just pot those. I think it's only about 4 to pot, maybe 3. There's the cuttings we took. We just put them in the corner of the greenhouse. They've rooted right through into the gravel under the pot, so that's good. I think we'll get 3 there, look, I think. We'll see how we do when we get them out. Let's have a look how they split. Rooted very well. Normal way, just split it. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3 then. So we'll do them into 3 pots. I was going to put them into 9cm liners, the square pots, but they're so big, and the time I put a cane on they'll just fall over. So we'll pop them into 1 litre pots. We'll use the compost we've made because it's very good compost, and we'll get them potted, caned and tied, and then they go down on the garden somewhere where the chickens can't get them, and we'll grow them on, and when they're ready we'll probably send them up the village for one of their sales. Okay, they're rooted well, so we'll just pop that in the middle. I'm actually going to pot in the pot because it'd be a bit messy on that bit of wood. It's a good open compost, so they'll like that. Right, so let's get this one up then. Firm but not too firm, remember. Put the cane in, and then we'll put a strap on it, tape on it, just to hold it. Not too fierce a tape. We'll put 3, shall we? If it'll grip, it won't grip. That's it. So there'll be 3 on it. Then I shall water these while I shall keep them in the greenhouse for a couple of days just while they settle, but they'll get to the top of these in no time. So there you are, that's the 3 jasmine potted. So we've taken those from cuttings right through to nearly the finished plant. I'll just pop these in the greenhouse and I'll just give them a water to settle them down, and then in a week or so I'll show you them when they're at the top of the canes. Now the other cuttings that we took in the greenhouse was from the crazy grape. As you can see, they've gone absolutely crazy. They're ready for potting. We've actually got, well, we've got 3, but I would say 2.5, but we'll pot them as a 3. They've gone right through the pot and into the gravel. So to get it out the pot, I'm going to have to do it in this empty tub so I can get the compost off, okay? Oh, there she comes. I don't want to rag the roots up too much, but it will happen. There you go. A few's broken. Take it in the tub as well, save me getting a mess. There you go then, so that's 1. We'll take that one out, look, because that's the one that failed. Another one here failed, look, although it was showing a root, but that's actually failed. And we'll split this one as well, carefully. So that gives us 3 quite big grapes. I'll just leave those 2 in there while we pot that one. I do believe Gemma wants 2, so we'll get hers potted into this pot, grow it through, and then we'll put it into a 5 litre pot as it outgrows this pot, so they'll transfer better to a pergola. Now I was going to put the bigger ones into 2 litres, but having just tried one, I think I'm going to go to 3 litres. So this is a 3 litre pot, and as you can see it fits a lot better in there. It's nice compost again, so it'll do well. And that'll be up and away in no time. Again, quite firm, this one. Remember, these are very strong growers, so now we need a cane. So here you are, 4-foot cane, and then this cane will probably stop with it until it's ready for planting out. Nice and firm in, and plenty of tapes on this to hold it into position. It's already looking for somewhere to grab. so it'll probably wrap round the cane anyway. I'll just put one at the top. There you go. That's one of the crazy grapes done. Same again, I should put it in the greenhouse for now, and then it will go out later on. And that's made a good plant from that little cutting we took from there. Now I'll just do the other two and then I'll show them all finished. So there you are, that's the 3 grapevines potted. These are cuttings that we raised. We did actually put some cuttings in the fruit cage as well, and I do believe they're nearly this big as well. So indoors or outdoors, the grapevine seems to root well. Whether it's this season that we've had that's made them grow a bit more outside, I don't know, but they're done very well. These will go back in the greenhouse for a week or 2 to settle them down. As soon as I see them growing, and I'm sure this one has grown 2 inches since I potted it. So it's one crazy grapevine. These 2 big ones will go to Gemson, and that one we'll find a home for, and the ones down there we'll find home for, probably up the village. So I'll pop these in, and then at least they're out this bit of breeze because it'll blow them over. That's the bit of potting done for today. We'll leave them in here and let them grow on and settle down a bit. Now it's turned into quite a warm day in the end. Now that'll be about it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. We've got quite a few jobs done, but still quite a few to do. I see the cabbages, etc. we've put in are all coming up nicely. The lettuce we put in I've potted on because it was that far on. So there's those to do next week. We'll have a look at those. That'll be it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. Many thanks for those people who subscribed. We do appreciate it, and thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Bye now.